Why Buddhism? If you have an answer for what Buddhism is and why it makes sense and how it ties into meditation, please drop it in the comments below and we can have a discussion about it. So this video is about the difference between spiritual and worldly methods of dealing with suffering. Worldly systems, making money and so forth, or the secret or whatever, they typically aim to address the immediate feeling of suffering. They work to alleviate the discomfort or pain that we experience in the moment. They usually provide some kind of relief, some kind of distraction. Watching Netflix, binge watching Netflix or alcohol is a sort of system, if you will. These methods focus on stopping the emotional or physical experience of suffering as it arises, and it offers temporary fixes. It's kind of an immediate relief, but it's got a long-term consequences. So while this approach does offer that momentary relief, it doesn't fundamentally address the root causes of suffering. The cycle of suffering can continue and repeat because the underlying causes remain unexamined and unaddressed. We haven't cut the tree at the root. In contrast, spiritual systems, particularly Buddhism, aim to address these deeper underlying causes of suffering. The goal is not just to ease suffering in the present, but to eliminate its root causes, thereby preventing future suffering in this life and beyond. It's a long journey, and you're not going to quite completely eliminate it, but you can very much reduce it, and you can create the causes for a lot lower level of suffering. This approach works at a foundational level, aiming for more permanent liberation from the cycles of pain. It provides a method for understanding the interconnectedness of our actions, our thoughts, our experiences, and it guides us toward true freedom. That's the idea anyway. You have to try it and see if it works for yourself. But now that you know the basic theory, you might be more inspired to. So what are the root causes of suffering? Buddhism identifies the core causes of suffering as arising from the karmic chain of Nidanas, the interconnected cyclical processes that perpetuate suffering. The Nidanas, they're called the 12 links of interdependent existence. They represent the cycle of ignorance, craving, and aversion that drives our actions and emotions. We have some kind of emotional or gut level response to the world, and that's a karmic response. This is because we've been trained and habituated to that. So when we get caught in this chain of one thing going on to the next, in terms of our feelings and our emotions, the karmic chain, we inadvertently generate additional karma that keeps us trapped in suffering. The basic idea is that our desires, whether for attachment to something, that we want something, or avoiding some kind of thing we don't want, they lead us to act in ways that bind us further to this cycle of suffering. And it's based on rebirth as well, but I don't want to get into that now. These actions are based on misunderstanding the true nature of reality. So the key to Buddhist practice is understanding how this cycle works and how we can escape it. Instead of focusing on immediate emotional relief, Buddhism encourages us to look deeper and to examine the root causes of those cravings, those aversions, and to recognize the impermanent nature of all things. When we stop grasping at the transient phenomena around us and learn to disengage from the karmic cycles of desire and aversion, we start to move toward liberation. We start to attain some level of freedom. So how do we shift focus from surface level relief to deeper understanding? Well, obviously you need to study it, but meditation is the key. The path to freedom from suffering involves not just addressing these surface level feelings of pain and some discomfort, but understanding the deeper, subtler mechanisms that generate suffering. So we have to shift our attention from reacting to getting into the emotional arisings, getting into the situations as they arise, and cultivate awareness of those deeper causes. The goal is not to fix individual feelings of suffering. Those just arise and and disappear on their own, but to liberate ourselves from the root causes that perpetuate this cycle. So the Buddhist path gets us to engage with life in a more profound way by recognizing the impermanence of all things. That's very important. Once we know that things are impermanent, we don't attach to them near as much, and you can detach from them altogether. You know it's going to be gone in a few hours, so why get too attached to it? We get a deeper, non-grasping understanding of reality in that way. So it's not about avoiding the challenges of life or the difficulties. It's about transforming our relationship with them. In this way, we can gradually, step by step, transcend suffering, not just today, but potentially for all lifetimes. The key to this is in meditation, when the sense of grasping arises, I want to get off this cushion, or I want to eat, or whatever, we look right at that, and there's a state of two Nidanas, where craving, you want something, and it becomes grasping. You start to go get it, your mind moves off, and that is the instantation of actual karmic follow-through. So you watch that process in meditation and you release it. The craving arises from past karma. The grasping induces future karma, and that's where it can be cut. That's the teaching, and we can watch that occur in meditation by getting a precise relationship with our mind. So I hope this video is helpful. If it is, subscribe. I'm going to have more similar content, how to meditate better, and how to use meditation for your benefit.